Hi, this is Jake, and I run the chess club at the Creston-Dement Public Library, and welcome to another chess video. Today's tactic will be a fan favorite: sacrifices. Perhaps the flashiest tactic in chess, sacrifices are moves where one player seems to give away a piece for little or nothing, but ends up creating a winning advantage for themselves. Sacrifices are difficult to pull off, as they often require calculating many moves in advance to ensure that the sacrifice is worth it. Let's get started with our first example. White has moved their rook to attack black's queen, thinking that the bishop on e3 is enough to protect their rook. Unfortunately for white, the bishop is performing another duty in restricting the movement of black's rook on e8. So, with the sacrifice of queen takes rook, bishop takes queen. Now, white's back rank is completely undefended, and their king is trapped by rook to e1, which is checkmate. Next, this interesting sacrifice is more about clearing our own pieces out of the way for our more powerful pieces to be active. Here, black has three pieces pointed towards the white king: our rook on h8, our bishop on h2, and our queen on c7. Our queen and bishop are on the same diagonal, with our bishop blocking our queen from getting into the action. We can remedy this by playing a sacrifice. Bishop to g1 reveals a check from our rook, and allows us to bring a stronger piece into the attack. The king is forced to take our bishop on g1, and now queen to h2, taking the place of the bishop, is checkmate. In our final example, we again have three pieces pointed towards our opponent's king: black's queen on h6, the rook on g8, and bishop on b7 are all aimed in that direction. We even have a helpful pawn cutting off the pivotal f2 square from the king. There are just a few pesky pawns in the way of our queen and rook. I'll show you the sacrificial move, and then ask you to find the checkmate that follows. If you want to find the whole sacrificial line, however, pause the video now. And with that, rook takes on g3 is the sacrificial move to open up the position. And from here, can you find white's only response to this move and our follow-up checkmate? In this position, white's king has no squares that they can escape to. And the only way out of this check is to take with their pawn. This capture, however, opens up the h-file for our queen, and lets us play queen to h1, which is checkmate. The only path that the king could take to get out of this checkmate is king to f2, but again, our little pawn is cutting off that square. Sacrifices are a fun and flashy tactic to achieve, but they are definitely an advanced tactic. Make sure you calculate a few moves ahead before you go throwing your pieces into your opponent's defenses to be taken for free. That's all the time we have for today. Don't forget to join us again for another chess video. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you and your king stay safe.